Go ahead and call this meeting to order with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Try to give Bob a call.
I figured he was going to be here when I stopped in the office, signed checks, and said he's on his way, but he's running late.
Hello, got some reception? Alright, let me see if I can't transfer over there.
He's on his way.
We got you?
Yes, I'm here.
Perfect.
Thanks, Bob. Chad, can you please do a roll call?
Supervisor Craig? Here. Supervisor Thorne?
Here.
Chairman Shaler?
Here.
Supervisor Brewer? Here. And Supervisor Wolford?
Bob, are you here?
I'm here. I'm here.
All right, thank you. First item on the agenda will be citizens' concerns. Anyone here wishes to address the town board? Can I get a motion to go into public comment?
So moved.
I'll second.
I have a motion by Mitch and a second by Kelsey. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Motion carries. Who wants to start? Go ahead.
I'm going to change it up this time. I'll go first. First, in respect of Sunday's holiday, I want to thank all the vets. Because without you, I wouldn't be able to come here and complain. Terry, Police, Fire, and Personnel Committee.
That's you have a gentleman sitting right next to you is one of them I was going to ask. See if we can get that rolling.
Okay. Another thing. In looking at the minutes from the special board on the 7th, for the closed session, what is the, I'm just curious, what's the rationale behind giving specific raises to specific individuals in lieu of a percent increase?
Well, we went with that from the recommendations from Chad, and the board approved it.
So if Steve recommended that all his guys get a $200 an hour raise, you guys going to do that too?
He brought it to us. We didn't do it though.
So you're still singling individuals out then, rather than doing it for everybody. Okay. So was that property next to you, is that empty or is that sold?
It's a non-disclosure agreement is what everybody tells me.
So the purchase of the property is non-disclosure.
It has not, since last time I checked, there was no transfer of title yet.
Okay, so as soon as the deed is transferred, then it's public record.
I would imagine.
Well, no, I think that's the state statute.
Okay.
So it has an intent of selling. Do we know what possibly is going to go in there?
Nobody's ever really said, but Dave Pataski told me it was going to be a bus company, and they're moving their headquarters here from Minneapolis. But I don't know.
So how is that stop sign going to work then?
Yeah. So they've been doing soil samples, and surveyors have been there a lot, so I haven't seen any title transfers yet.
All right. I just wanted to ask out of yours and your sanity.
Yeah.
Other than that, I will go out and say that I'm slightly displeased at the amount of money being pulled out of the really only discretionary budget that you guys have, and that's the Park and Rec Department. So, of course, because I was on there, I sort of have a little bit of a heart to that one, but I'm displeased at how much money is being taken out of that when we get complaints all the time about how the kids don't have things to play with in the summer, or they're getting hurt on the equipment and stuff like that. So I'm done.
All right. Next, anybody? Go ahead, Joanne.
Yeah, I'd like to find out what the status is on coming up with a agreement or something on that stop sign out there.
What kind of an agreement?
Anything? Have you come up with some kind of idea? I would like to give Steve Pins and Lenny a big A+ apiece for putting the white sign down, but it didn't do any good.
Yeah, and that's what we started with. We're starting simple and working our way up. And if it's not doing anything, we're just going to have to keep climbing.
Well, I come up with a solution along with the help of somebody else that I'm really, really thankful. Technically, we own that street out there, right? That road out there in front of our house, Chad? Technically?
It's half of the road. The tax parcel, I believe, is part of your tax parcel. Although by the letter of the law, it becomes a perpetual easement. So it really is public use in the eyes of what a judge or anybody else would say. So you can't just block off part of that road. It's been used as a public access for how many years? It's a perpetual easement.
So then, in other words, we can't put a no through traffic sign out there and stop the traffic from going through there, and not stopping at the sign and take the risk of somebody getting killed out there again?
If the town could vacate that portion of the road, I don't recommend it, but the board has the ability to vacate.
Board, can I help your help on that? It'd be greatly appreciated, because one of these days, and my grandson gets dropped off on the corner every day from the bus. There was a car that came through today that almost ran, and she had her lights on before she came to the actual stop on the bus. This guy came through with a white SUV and almost ran.
Yeah, I don't question it. I've almost been hit on the corner. So, I don't know, blocking off the road stuff. And I get it. I thought of that too. But we got the white stripe up there. Let's, I guess, look into. And no matter what you do at some point, even if we got a flashy light and a stop sign, there's still going to be people that run through it. I'm afraid to say.
Then it's all the people that are staying at the Days Inn.
Yeah. So we'll look into the cost a little bit more of that flashy light. I know they're expensive, but it's cheaper than a light. So we'll look.
Can we put rumble strips down?
I prefer not to.
Yeah, there's something for that.
To do so much damage to the road with that.
And the other thing is, since you guys opened up for the parking out here, who's going to pay for the road to get fixed when it comes time to do that with that guy that parks out there all the time? His semi leaks really bad.
If there's a particular semi, then I just need the information. That if you get it to me, and I'll get it to the right people.
It's Gardner.
That,
Because
I
it
mean,
was
I
like
got
a
it.
month ago. I don't know if the town put it out there, but somebody went out there and put a whole bunch of kitty litter all around where his semi was parked.
Is this where we had the bad spill like a month or so ago?
Out where the,
Yeah. I know we had one truck that leaked pretty heavily. And I talked to.
right down the road here.
Okay. I talked to some people about it, but yeah, we'll look at it closer. That's all we can. I mean, if there's anything else we can do about patrolling trucks parked on the side of the road,
Nothing.
not unless we get actual.
He's legally parked.
Yeah. If we got a truck leaking stuff all over, what can we do with him?
Nothing I know of.
Yeah, 'cause
Take
that's a
the-
legal parking spot, right? Okay.
Take the no parking signs and put them back up there.
Okay. Well,
That's the only way that'll cure it.
yep. Okay. We'll keep monitoring it.
Thanks, Joanne. Anybody else? Go ahead, Bruce.
Yeah, well, something about them employees raises too. Everybody else got a percentage, didn't they, again this year?
Correct.
Yeah, police department and all the maintenance. And so why is that always, every year, there's certain people get a percentage and then certain people get a dollar amount. And last year it was a percentage and dollar amount. I mean, that causes morale problems. I mean, everybody's got to be treated the same. And you think it's fair? Or?
Well, I don't know. We all voted on it. If it
Well, I
had-
understand that. I'm asking what you think of. It's
Well,
fair.
like I said, Chad brought it to us, and I agreed to it.
So basically, he's bargaining for the people in the office, huh?
He's the one that brought it to us, so,
And he thought that was a fair thing to do.
yeah, I think so.
You do. Interesting. Ralph, this, the plan for the Lake Del Rey over there, you ready to share that with us, or?
No, not yet. She's moving real slow, but we're still heading that way. Yeah, that's all I got on right now. We are still working on it though.
So what's the big secret?
That's not really a big secret. I'm just not going to say we're planning on doing anything until I know for sure we're doing it. So there's no reason to until we know.
Well, obviously you gotta do something because there's a problem over there.
Yep, that's my biggest problem right now is that one. That's what I'm working on. It's top of my list.
Yeah, I guess I don't understand what the secret is. I mean, everything else has always
It's
been
not a big secret. It's just like anything else. A lot of the stuff that we came up with cost $1 million to do, and we put those aside. The things that cost hundreds of thousands of dollars we put aside because we don't have the money. So we are exploring options that with a lot much less cost. But anytime we have a property that's up next to the city of La Crosse, we got to do it the right way. I'm not going to rush through it when we're in a fragile spot right there. I'm just not going to rush into it. So as soon as we get it, so our ducks are in a row the right way, then we're going to move forward with it.
Well, I think it was made known, I think last year, that you can't drain that onto the city property.
Yep.
So you haven't got too many more options, I wouldn't think.
Do you have an option? Do you have a suggestion, Bruce?
I haven't got all the information on it over there, so I couldn't make a comment on that.
I know that I was elected in, and the first year I spent fixing road projects. Still working on it. There's a lot of people that say the road was put in incorrectly, but I wasn't in charge then, so I'm just trying to fix it.
How about the drainage situation on Lake Shore there, Kitty Corner from,
Yeah, me and Bob have talked about that one, so we've got some plans on that too.
is that a secret too, or?
No secret, just don't have the exact plan out yet. Once again, we've looked at a lot of different options there. Most of the options we've looked at cost a lot of money, so we're trying to figure out a way to do it that'll be permanent and cost effective.
Is there plans in the works for it, or?
There's discussions. Next time we have one, I'd be more happy to invite you if you got some stuff you want to add to it.
Well, like I say, until you have all the information, you can't comment on it or make a plan on it.
Information hasn't changed any since when you were in. It's the roads hasn't changed. But at that location for years.
Well, I'm just
It's identical.
talking about the information as far as what goes into it to rectify the problem.
The next meeting we have, I'll give you a call.
You do that.
Okay.
Yep. Terry, I see your name's on the hiring a maintenance employee. What's the plan there?
Well, I guess you'll hear, but we got a couple guys that are on injured reserve, so we build a list of some guys we might need. So,
You gonna advertise for applications then? Is that
you interested?
Never know.
Okay.
Depends on what it says.
Yeah.
So you're looking at hiring one or two or
One.
part-time, full-time, or what?
We're gonna keep that open, see what we can come up with.
Well, most people that apply,
Yeah.
they'd like to know what it is.
I'm thinking part-time myself.
Yeah, I know I talked to Mitch here a couple months ago about, advertising for applications and then establish an eligibility list so you got something to lean on.
Correct.
Now it's snow plowing time and
Right.
they need help and they haven't got it right now. And if we got a big snowstorm, I think they'd be in a bind. That's all I got for right now.
Thanks, Bruce. Anybody else? Can I get a motion to call the public comment?
So moved.
I'll second that. I got a motion by Ralph, second by Terry. All in favor, say aye.
Right.
Opposed?
Aye.
Opposed? Say no. Motion carries. Let's move down to consent agenda. Items A through C. If there's no action taken on the consent agenda, can I get a motion to accept?
So moved.
I'll second that. I got a motion by Mitch, second by Terry. Any discussion? I'll call the motion. All in favor, say aye.
Right.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Motion carries. Move down to business 5A. Denise Rowlick, or is that how you pronounce that? 1357 Nokomis Avenue, request for annual burn permit. Denise is here? No. No?
She was told.
Okay. Should we
Postpone.
postpone? Just, can I get a motion to table it then until maybe next month?
Move to hold it over.
I'll second that. I got a motion by Bob, second by Terry. Any further discussion? I'll call the motion. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, say no. Motion carries. Move down to 5B. Reappointment of Dan Kapanke as town representative on La Crosse County Convention and Visitors Bureau Board. Well, Dan's here, and Dan's our representative. So I guess I'm asking the board for an approval that Dan could do it for us for another year, and he's got a little presentation for us. Go ahead, the floor is yours, Dan.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thanks, members of the board, for your service. I just have a few numbers that you probably are aware of, but maybe some people in the audience are not. But County of La Crosse ranks number 9 out of 72 counties in tourism spending, and Eau Claire County is pushing us, right behind us, so we're trying to stay ahead of them. But tourists spent $263.8 million in 2017 in La Crosse County. Total business sales are over $426 million. Over 4,387 people are employed in the tourist industry in La Crosse County, which is pretty awesome. Total labor income is $109.6 million in 2017. And tourism spending generates $33 million in tax dollars here in this county, which helps everybody. People like coming to this area, and some of the comments that we hear from the people that come from at the Convention Visitors Bureau is that we're friendly people and we have a lot to offer here in La Crosse. And of course, we have the river, the bluffs, and so many other things to offer to people, and they enjoy coming here. And we hear that with conventions. People that come here for conventions, they have conventions around the state. They like coming here for a lot of different reasons, but they like the people here. So thank you, everybody, for playing your role, being friendly to people that come in here, spend money, help us with tax dollars. You have probably updated on the La Crosse Center that it was kind of a setback a while back. They're still working on it. It's moving rather slow. And we have some huge conventions that are supposed to come here, and it's kind of iffy right now. We haven't lost any yet, but the city doesn't get moving fairly soon. That could happen. It could be going to Eau Claire or someplace else. So hopefully they'll get moving on a convention, which again is a major attraction for bringing groups into the La Crosse area. Finally, I'd just like to mention at the meeting or at the voting last week, the Pratt tax passed pretty overwhelmingly, which kind of surprised those of us in the tourism business a little bit. But that tax is a selective tax paid for by all of us, not just tourists, but everybody, for selective items that are labeled under this law, statute in Madison. And for instance, if you buy buns at Festival Foods, they won't be taxed. But if you buy buns at Quick Trip, they will be taxed. So there's going to be that difference. And there's, again, a whole array of selective items that will be taxed under this Pratt tax, which is 0.5% of tax. And it's also going to apply to groups that are coming in, conventions that are coming in. There's one group that would cost them close to $10,000 more to come to La Crosse if we have this Pratt tax. So, again, one of the misnomers is that it's going to be all paid by tourists. That's not true. 85% or more is going to be paid by you and me here in La Crosse County. So, it's passed. The referendum's there. Representative Doyle and Senator Schilling are pushing this. Representative Billings is not so much, maybe a little bit. She wasn't before. But now with this vote, she's got to reconsider. So I'm just saying, if you happen to run into one of our elected officials, talk to them about the Pratt a little bit, it's not going to help us bringing people and spending money and generating tax dollars here in La Crosse. If you think about it, we're spending the city about $42 million to renovate the La Crosse Center, to bring more people here. Well, if we approve the Pratt, it's going to cost these people more money to come here, and some of them may not. So it just seems like it's counterproductive to what we're trying to do at the Convention and Visitors Bureau. So again, we have a lot of things going for us. The press got to go. That tax got to go through the Assembly, through the Senate, and signed by the governor. So that's a long process, and we'll have opportunities for input along the way. But I just wanted to make you aware that it's not going to be paid just by tourists. It's going to be paid a large percentage by us that live here in La Crosse County. So again, I serve at your pleasure, and I'm honored to serve in that capacity for you. And if you want to give me another year, I'll be glad to do it. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Thanks, Dan.
Thanks, Dan.
I'll leave you some numbers here. You may have these. I'm not sure, Chad.
I don't know if I've seen those.
There's all the counties and some of the numbers that I rattled off here.
Perfect.
Can I get a motion to reappoint Dan as our representative?
So moved.
Second that.
I got a motion by Mitch and second by Ralph. Any further discussion? I'll call a motion. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye. Aye.
Opposed say no. Motion carries. Let's move down to 5C. Dan Nelson presents plan for apartment condo project and seeks support from the board. I don't know if some people know about it, but Dan wants to build a apartment building on Clinton there, and it was turned down by the county, right, Dan?
Right.
And so he wanted to present it to the town, just to kind of show us what he's wants to do there.
I have a handout. I'll give you folks. Basically, the project is twofold. We're looking at trying to put a housing development, high-rise, on the 129 property where the old bait shop used to sit. It's torn down now. It's a vacant lot. Castaways is right behind that lot. And the high-rise, proposed high-rise was 9 stories. The first 3 stories were parking. The next 6 stories were apartments. There would be 24 units. They're starting out as apartments. Each apartment would be approximately 1,750 square feet. And on the top would be a common area for the tenants, and we also put a pool up there for the boaters for both marinas and the customers for Catgut Marina. And the second project is attempting to fill the ditch or the basin right that lies between the 129 property and Quick Trip. And there's a basin there that's been there for ever and ever. It's kind of it has been an eyesore. It's filled with junk, debris. There is no value to the property the way it sits. And I've struggled, the previous owners have struggled, I think the town has struggled over the years trying to get permission to fill that ditch. I've hired Mr. Jim Webb, who's a certified engineering construction expert. He's the gentleman that developed the Tom Sawyer's property as far as getting variance by securing the variances I needed to expand Tom Sawyer's. And he was also involved in the Castaways project, which involved placing the marina across the street, raising the property. We raised that property roughly 9 feet to get out of the flood plain. And there were several variances required to do that. And Jim he's an expert in that field, and we're fortunate to be able to find him and have him work with the county, the town, and the powers that be to get that accomplished. I've also hired Ms. Kara Burgess, who's an attorney in La Crosse. She's done all of our legal work since the beginning. She helped us get Tom Sawyer's secured, and as you know, when we first came to the board back when we bought Tom Sawyer's, there was a little bit of a struggle, and she helped me work through that. Unfortunately, I think it's worked out well for myself and the local people, the surrounding people, and of course I think it's worked out well for the town of Campbell. And then she's also helped me with securing the property across the street at Castaways, which is 131 address. So now we're trying to develop, the last piece of the puzzle would be to develop the 129 property. There's several things that need to be taken care of. As far as variances, we have a height issue, and we have a setback issue, and some DNR issues. And we went to the board of correct word I'm trying to say, the board of
Adjustments.
Adjustments, thank you very much. The Board of Adjustments for the county, and the DNR sent a letter that basically sunk the project. Well, unfortunately, the DNR didn't have all their facts right. And there was some misinterpretation, and we've been working with the DNR since the request was denied, and we seem to be working in a very, very positive direction with the DNR now. In order to go back to the Board of Adjustments and we submit our plan. But at the same time, this may be maybe a benefit. We had kind of ran out of steam as far as trying to fill that basin with that ditch in. And depending on how they determine what that basin is, if it's man-made or not man-made, if there's a berm that goes across it, which there is, that could change the DNR's position, which would allow us to fill that ditch, that basin, which also solves several of my setback issues and variance issues regarding the other property that we put the high rise in. So it's very, very complicated. It's going to be very, very costly to try to get this thing passed or whatever, and I'm looking for the town of Campbell's support to try to accomplish it. Now, does one have to go with the other one? No. If the property to put the high rise up says no, I'd still like to pursue the ditch. We've been trying to pursue that for 10 years, and I can't tell you the number of thousands of dollars we've spent trying to get that to work, and it's never happened. If I could get it done now, it would be a big bonus for us, for the town. Mm-hmm. And there really wouldn't be any development on that partial. It would be basically a park, Chad, so we talked about putting a park up there, shrubbery, benches for people who said. We also talked a little bit about a sidewalk, having a sidewalk along that area, going to Quick Trip, which would be very beneficial. Maybe if we got that accomplished, maybe the county would consider a crosswalk, which would be very helpful in that area. But the basin, when you drive in to the island from this end of town, if you drive by shenanigans and the churches and the apartments and townhouses, it looks very nice. If you come in from the other direction, it's not so nice. So if we could, change that ditch by Quick Trip in the 129 property, that would certainly clean up that whole area there. And maybe if we could add a high rise with some change that might work for the county, the DNR, and the public, and whoever, that would certainly add to the island as well. It would increase tax revenue, should increase property values, provide additional housing to the island, and certainly, the island when I first came here, it was not a destination. I think the island of French Island now is a destination between all the different things that was going on the island. So we all work together and we can accomplish this.
Thanks, Dan.
So I guess just to fill in real quick, so looking for approval, I did happen to attend his Board of Adjustment meeting. I think if he's able to accomplish what I think we're relatively optimistic, at least with the whole, if he needs to go back to the Board of Adjustment, they could be looking for maybe some kind of a resolution or support from the town to support that. We would be eliminating, again, one of the variances on the left side of the property. We would still have to work on the right side and maybe some height stuff, but if the board so chooses, we could put together a real nice resolution that he could present at his next Board of Adjustment hearing. So kind of go from there, I guess. If anybody's opposed or in favor of supporting Dan on the project.
Is there any residential restrictions for that piece of property?
The 129 would have to be rezoned to residential. That's other issue that has to be handled.
Okay.
The county doesn't seem to feel that's a problem. So there shouldn't be any issues as far as converting that property and it would provide additional rental space.
Hey, so Chad, we're not going to do a preemptive approval of something that might get approved based on some other action to support that project.
Right, I just kind of get, I'd like to get a feeling from the board if it moves further ahead in the project where we could present then to you guys a nice resolution that then he could present to the county when he goes back for his variance.
Got it. My biggest sticking point, we hear this, we just heard it at a meeting previously, is that roadway is already a choke point with what the county did in the city. So that is the other main probably concern I have with that, increasing the activity there. And Dan's done a great job as far as business development. There's no doubt about it. The flip side is that being a main artery for the rest of the town is becoming less and less available.
Sure.
We definitely like to undo what they did over there.
I'll
Turn
second
that to
that.
a 4-lane road.
Chad had showed me pictures the other day of what it looked like in 1938, and that somebody had dug that out. That was probably dug out before landfill one time. If you look down over, that's about what it looks like.
Yeah, it used to be just as high as the rest of it with trees and used to be a forest in there.
Go ahead, that's.
So when I was on the board and I was working with the state, that was kind of one of my projects, was trying to get them to approve filling in that hole. One of the sticking points from the DNR individual that I was working with was that there was a breeding ground, and I said yes for four-eyed mosquitoes. And so she said that if we could come up with pictures or documentation and provide that to the DNR and to the state, saying that property was not always like that. There, for some reason, it was emptied out for something, then that would significantly change their mind. I talked to everybody, including Bob Socklake, and he didn't have any pictures, and I would think that he would have, of all people on the island, have something there.
Well, Dan's team has done a fantastic job of finding a lot of stuff right now, and I would think that there's a lot of optimism as far as what he's found, of at least being able to recognize the bulkhead that the board approved in 1975 and be able to fill that.
Yeah, and I supplied Mr. Nelson with all the documentation I had from the state, so he had a little bit of an upper hand. But the state wasn't about to move, and so I suggested, and Dan and I sat down and talked, and maybe we were going to see if we couldn't get a hold of Mr. Weber and see if we couldn't work our way up that direction to try to fill that in. But if we have pictures for it, that might actually sway them a little bit more.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's something that, like Lee, when he was on the board, tried to push to get that filled in. The Army Corps of Engineers is the one that was worse.
Corps of Engineers approved it.
Oh, yeah.
The state was the one that was putting the kibosh to it. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, so I had the Corps of Engineers, I had the documentation from the Corps of Engineers that approved the project. And the state said that they were really only going to approve it for green space for residents.
All right.
So they would never allow, if we were going to fill in wetlands, they're never going to allow it for a company, unless of course it's the Burlington Northern, which they have plenty of attorneys and money. Boy, the state did not like that when I accused them of that. But yeah, they were never ever going to approve it being a commercial property. It was going to have to be green space for the residents.
No, I don't think that was ever Dan's intent necessarily.
No. But that was another sticking point that they came across and blatantly said that was never going to happen.
Sure.
Can I make a comment?
Sure.
The traffic is what it is, and if you want more people to come to the island, then the traffic is going to increase. And may have to put some, what do you call the things you put in the road to slow people down. You don't like that, but, that's a county road, so that really would be a county problem, right? Or flashing lights to slow people down. But I manage my parking and I manage my traffic that go into in and out of Tom Sawyer's, in and out of Caspa's, and I don't know if the police department's ever been called on an issue where we've had an accident or somebody hurt or hit or what have you. You manage that. You have to manage what you got. Now, if we are fortunate enough to put a high rise up of some fashion on the 129 property, the format at Castaways is going to change, okay, which will also decrease the amount of traffic going in and out of that property. So, over the years, we've asked for crosswalks, but we weren't, able to get that. We opposed the traffic change, the changes in the road when that proposal came out. We found out at the last minute, and we spent several $1,000s again fighting that, and nothing ever happened. So I learned how to manage my properties, and we will continue to do that. But the idea is to bring more people to the island. We want more sales tax revenue, we want more property revenue, we want more tax base.
Yeah, I think every time I drive by your place, I see you out there or somebody else helping people in or out. So
Right.
you do an excellent job of that. When the next meeting that the county's going to have? Or?
Well, our goal is to get on, to be very honest with you, the first meeting in January. We're kind of waiting for some response from the DNR right now, and hopefully we're going to get that. We're putting together a complete package that's going to go to the DNR. I'm hoping by Friday this week. We've gathered lots and lots of positive information that should help the basin area, and that would in turn help the 129 project. And we're full speed ahead.
Yeah.
We're going to go for it, and I have a hard time understanding the word no. And I would have stopped 10 years ago if I didn't fight with the board back then. So a different board. Mr. Wolford would be familiar with that episode, but we want to make a positive position here on the island. We want to create more revenue for the island. I want to have more employees. We hire more employees. We hire a lot of French Island residents that work at both facilities, and we care about the community. I try to get involved in any type of public assistance, whether it's the schools or the churches or what have you. The island's important to us.
Mm-hmm. Right. Thanks, Dan.
How many units, Dan?
The original proposal was 24. That may decrease. It's not going to increase. So we asked for 24 units originally.
And they'd be 1,700 square feet.
Correct.
4 per floor, yeah.
Okay.
But I'm going to need some horsepower. I'm going to need some ammunition, and there's a lot of speculation going on a little bit. So I thought I'd come to the board and explain to them what I'm doing. This might help a little bit here that I hand you. If the project, the basin, the project is important to you, then I'd ask you for your help. So if it's not important, then I understand.
At this time, should we table it over to the next meeting so we can talk to some more people in the town before we go ahead and say yes to this, or what do you think, Mitch?
Sure, we can hold it over for another month. I mean, it's not going to happen until January anyway, right?
Right.
Board of Adjustment meeting, so.
I think that's probably good.
Yeah.
Ralph, yeah?
I'd like to do that. Good.
Kelsey?
Is it possible to get copies of the packet that you're getting prepared on Friday?
My plan was to give Chad, definitely give Chad a copy of that. I've tried to,
Yeah.
give him all the correspondence that.
Jay, can we get a copy of that then? I'm fine with tabling it.
Yeah. Thank you. Can I get a motion to table it then?
I'll make a motion that we hold it over until the December meeting.
I'll second that. I got a motion by Mitch and a second by Terry. Any further discussion? I'll call the motion. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, say no.
Opposed, say no.
Motion carries. Move down to 5D, disposal method of seized property in possession of the police department. I guess we have a motorcycle that we've had in back there for, 6 years, I guess? 2003, what, at least? Or better? 2003 Yamaha V-Star motorcycle back there, and we were hoping two brothers would buy it from us, but they're not interested. And I guess it's another item we maybe put on Wisconsin surplus.
Well, I talked to Drew about that today, and we're going to have the guy that operates that little motorcycle shop across from the Barrel Inn on West Avenue take a look at it. He does really good work. He's fairly reasonable, and we'll at least get an idea from him what he can fix it for, and then maybe what we could sell it for. Because two brothers felt that they wouldn't make enough money to invest in fixing it. So
Okay.
That guy down there is, it's Johnson's.
Well, used to be.
He's very good.
So, you got anything you want to put on that, Drew, or add to?
No, I've got it in the garage
Yeah.
at home.
Okay.
I didn't have any room here, so it's sitting in my garage. It looks really nice in my garage.
You want to buy it?
I do.
Okay.
It's it's been sitting there for 8 years. It's not going to hurt for another couple months. I figure we'll wait until the spring, and we'll have this gentleman take a look at it. If we can get it repaired for a reasonable amount, then I think we can sell it, make some money.
Okay.
If it's okay with the board, we'll
Yeah.
leave it where it's at for now, and we can look at it in the spring.
All right. So I get a motion to table it till spring?
Just, you could probably just no action on it.
No
and
action.
just bring it back.
Okay.
It's current condition.
No action taken on that then. We'll move down to 5E, form of record resolution authorizing a state fund loan in the amount of $700,000 to finance a streets and roads project. Just another thing we need to take care of, I guess, for this, and Chad brought it to us here.
Yep.
Want to take it?
So part of the loan packet that we have here is all the information that we need that I'll submit to the state then to get our loan moving. But in order to do that, we have to read the resolution into record. So bear with me, they're fairly long, but I have to read it verbatim here. So by the provisions of section 24.66 of the Wisconsin statute, all municipalities may borrow for such purposes in the manner prescribed, and by the provisions of Chapter 24 of the Wisconsin statute, the Board of Commissioners of Public Lands of Wisconsin is authorized to make loans from the State Trust Fund to municipalities for such purposes. Municipalities is defined by Section 24.60 sub 2 of the Wisconsin statute means a town, village, city, county, public, inland, lake protection, and rehabilitation district, town sanitary district created under Section 60.71 or 60.72. Metropolitan Sewer District created under Section 200.05 or 200.23. Joint Sewage System created under Section 281.43 sub 4. School District or Technical College District. Therefore, be it resolved that the town of Campbell and the county of La Crosse, Wisconsin, borrow from the trust funds of the state of Wisconsin the sum of $700,000 for the purpose of financing road work and for no other purpose. The loan is to be payable within 5 years from the 15th day of March preceding the date the loan is made. The loan will be repaid in annual installments with interest at the rate of 4.25% per annum from the date of making the loan to the 15th day of March next, and thereafter annually as provided by law. Resolved further that there shall be raised and there is levied upon all taxable property within the town of Campbell and the county of La Crosse, Wisconsin, a direct annual tax for the purpose of paying interest and principal on the loan as they become due. Resolved further that no money obtained by the town of Campbell for such loan from the state be applied or paid out for any purpose except financing roadwork without the consent of the Board of Commissioners of Public Lands. Resolved further that in case the Board of Commissioners of Public Lands of Wisconsin agrees to make the loan, that the chairman and clerk of the town of Campbell in the county of La Crosse, Wisconsin, are authorized and empowered in the name of the town to execute and deliver to the commission certificates of indebtedness in such form as required by the commission for any sum of money that may be loaned to the town pursuant to this resolution. The chairman and clerk of the town will perform all necessary actions fully carry out the provisions of Chapter 24 Wisconsin statute and this resolution. Resolve further that this preamble and these resolutions and the A and nay, no vote by which they are adopted be recorded, and that the clerk of the town forward the certified record along with the application for the loan to the Board of Commissioners of Public Lands of Wisconsin. That being said, if I could get a motion to approve.
I'll move to approve.
I'll second that. I got a motion by Ralph, second by Terry. Any further discussion?
On a roll call vote, Chairman Schaller,
Here, yes.
Supervisor Wolford,
Yes.
Supervisor Bromer,
Yes.
Supervisor Thorne,
Yes.
Supervisor Craig.
Yes.
A majority of the town board of the town of Campbell and the county of La Crosse, state of Wisconsin, having voted in favor of the preamble and resolutions, they were declared adopted. Perfect.
Move down to 5F, form of record resolution authorizing a state loan fund in the amount of $350,000 for the purchase of fire truck. And same thing again. Mr. Chad, you want to?
More than happy. So that being said, so therefore be resolved that the town of Campbell and the county of La Crosse, Wisconsin borrow from the trust funds of the state of Wisconsin the sum of $350,000 for the purpose of financing the purchase of fire truck and for no other purpose. The loan is to be payable within 5 years from the 15th day of March preceding the date the loan is made. The loan will be repaid in annual installments with interest rate of 4.25% per annum from the date of making the loan to the 15th day of March next and thereafter annually as provided by law. Resolve further that there shall be raised and there is levied upon all taxable property within the town of Campbell and the county of La Crosse, Wisconsin, a direct annual tax for the purpose of paying interest and principal on the loan as they become due. Resolve further that no money obtained by the town of Campbell by such loan from the state be applied or paid out for any other purpose except financing the purchase of fire truck without the consent of the Board of Commissioners of Public Lands. Resolve further that in case the Board of Commissioners of Public Lands of Wisconsin agrees to make the loan, that the chairman and clerk of the town of Campbell and county of La Crosse, Wisconsin are authorized and empowered in the name of the town to execute and deliver to the commissioner certificates of indebtedness in such form as required by the commission for any sum of money that may be loaned to the town pursuant to this resolution. The chairman and clerk of the town will perform all necessary actions to fully carry out the provisions of Chapter 24 Wisconsin statutes and these resolutions. Resolve further that this preamble and these resolutions and the A and no vote by which they are adopted be recorded, and that the clerk of the town forward the certified record along with the application for the loan to the Board of Commissioners of the Public Lands of Wisconsin. Once again, if I could get a motion.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second that. I have a motion by Ralph, second by Terry. Any further discussion?
On a roll call vote again, Chairman Schaller,
Yes.
Supervisor Wolford,
Yes.
Supervisor Bromer,
Yes.
Supervisor Thorne,
Yes.
and Supervisor Craig.
Yes.
A majority,
Is this date incorrect?
no. A majority of the town board of the town of Campbell in the counties of La Crosse, state of Wisconsin, having voted in favor of the preamble and resolutions, they were declared adopted. What's the 700,000?
On the 700,000 one, 300's got the wrong thing attached, I think. Did you get it from the city or the city?
No, that's our equalized value.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
The town's worth $355 million. So anybody wants to buy it.
We'll move down to 5G. Discussion on hiring a new maintenance employee. Well, Steve Pence brought it to us, and we're gonna something we need to move forward on. What I'm looking for is a motion to authorize Chad to put in the paper. I was hoping to get somebody that, like we used to have in the shop back there, that could turn wrenches too, was a good mechanic. But can do road work and stuff. Steve, you want to add anything to that?
inadequately staffed right now
Yeah, correct.
to provide the services to your town residents. That's where we're at. So, I recommend you think about a full-time person that you can start training for the future.
Chad, you want to add anything to it?
No, I mean, we've talked about the maintenance department quite some time now. They are down some employees. Our part-timer's gonna, I mean, he's going to end at some point. We're either gonna have to hire him on or he'll be let go, which again, will be short-staffed again. So, I mean, it's always tricky though where the funding comes from. That's,
Yeah. Well, now I'm looking to build like an eligibility list, so get it out there. And I got some guys that I think might like the job, so but I should probably put it in the paper.
I guess like Bruce said, I mean, or I think it was Bruce, full-time, part-time, you know.
I think we're needing full-time over the winter.
You have a temporary issue and you have a full-time issue.
All right.
Did anyone speak to Bob about drawing some of the funds out of the utility?
I've had discussion with Bob.
Okay. Bob, what's your feeling on that?
Well, we know we're running out of hours on our current one, right? And Joe's still in treatment. I know Steve is headed, or got stuff planned. So we need to do something. What that is, maybe more full time. But are we going to do like a block of hours? Is the part where I'm at. I don't know if we want to. Do it a block of hours again, temporary, full time. My concern is plowing in the winter. Is going to be the biggest one. I think we can overcome the jetting with the street project because we'll probably televise and clean ahead of that anyway. So the full time with that hour or the hours kind of block.
Kind of like what we did, full-time seasonal, not to exceed 1,200 hour type deal.
Yes, I think. Yep, right.
Would you go for that?
I'm fine with it. It's just
Okay.
we've got to be willing to pay someone so we get somebody with experience. And you can't hire somebody that has no plowing experience whatsoever. I mean, we've got to get an experienced person. So
I went into the city and talked to street department head and asked him if he knew anybody who would be interested to come help us out. Somebody that's retired from the city, and he gave me a list of guys. So, I didn't contact any of them until after this meeting. But I thought maybe we put it in the paper so we.
I'll make a motion that we advertise for a maintenance employee eligibility list, and we can also put it on the town website and the Facebook page as well.
I'll second that. I have a motion by Mitch, second by Terry. Any further discussion?
Can you say it again? Say the motion.
Motion that we advertise for eligibility list for a maintenance employee, and we can post it on the website and Facebook as
Do we need
well.
to specify full-time and seasonal?
Yeah, I mean, is that the consensus that we're
Seasonal?
Seasonal.
Is that what? Is that the
as soon,
consensus?
yeah, by Wisconsin retirement, as soon as you post something full-time, their benefits right away. If we limit that again to no more than the 1,200, we'd be like how we have been right now, where we're able to monitor those benefits.
I think we're best off going that way, personally.
I think so. Full-time, seasonal.
With plow experience is a must.
Yeah.
And do you want me to put something together then?
Sure.
All right. Sounds good.
You want to just come take a look at something in the next couple days before I post it?
Well, any?
No, just send it to me so I can put it on the page.
Okay.
And we'll,
Any further discussion? I'll call a motion. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, say no. Motion carries. Can I get a motion to go into public comment?
So moved.
I'll second that. I got a motion by Mitch, second by Terry. Any further discussion? I'll call a motion. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Motion carries. We're in public comment. Anybody? Go ahead, Lee.
With the approval of the $1.5 million, or 1 point, whatever it is, what is our current debt load?
That's a good question. Actually, currently $384,353.93.
With what was approved, so whatever is coming for next year. When I ask at the January meeting, what will be our current debt load?
Well, it's $1,050,000 plus that, so a little over 1.4 million.
What are our payments every year for that then?
I have no idea yet. My guess is based on past experience, you're probably looking at about $180,000 a year for the $700,000, and for the $350 over $580 maybe.
Okay. I'll ask again in January just to make sure.
Yeah.
And then one other question, now that you guys have had that, or that we've talked about it already, that 75 cent raise, what does that generate? Because if you give us what the percentage, well, that equates to how much in percentage?
Those are good questions. I don't have the answer to that one. It is as far as percentage goes. I don't know.
Okay, well, I'll take that as not answering the question.
Yeah, I don't have a calculator on me. I don't know what a percentage that is.
Just what? Almost 4%. 3.937 for Brittany. That's just for the first 75 cents. And 3.4375% for Michelle.
Neat. Okay. Thank you, Kelsey.
Anything else, Lee? No. Anybody else? Go ahead, Bruce.
Yeah, I think the board ought to jump in behind Dan Nelson, everything that he's done down there to clean that up. I mean, that is the front door of French Island.
Yeah.
And if at all possible to get that hole filled in, I mean, that would be huge. And I think anything that the town or the board can do to support Dan, they need to do it without question.
Thanks, Dan, for everything you do for us.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I would agree, Bruce.
Yeah, without a doubt. The other thing is, Ralph, what was your reason really for taking parking off, or putting parking back on Sky Harbor after it was taken off?
The reason at the time was purely that there was, people that worked in the industry that had to travel a long ways to get to the truck or whatnot. It was just to make it more convenient for people that worked in that industry.
Because ever since the parking's been put on there, the trucks that have been parked there are leaking.
Yeah.
And all it's doing is deteriorating that road. And we got enough road issues over here now. I think seriously look at taking parking off there again before it gets so bad that when they plow it, the blacktop will be up on the grass.
We're going to try to find out if it's the same vehicle. And if so, we're going to have a conversation first. And if not, we might have to look at that, yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, it makes sense, take it off. Really. Who's in charge of selling the fire truck out here?
I believe it's on Wisconsin Surplus, and if you want to bid on it, you have to go on their site.
Well, my question is, it's been sitting out there, and who hasn't got the time to put a couple of for sale signs in there? I mean, sitting right out front, I thought that would be part of the deal.
Yeah.
I mean, all you do is round with Menards, it might help sell it faster.
Right. Well, with the conversation I had with Steve, he's wanted to wait until we got it on Surplus before the signs were placed out. Some people have came in and talked to Steve about purchasing it.
Well, yeah, I mean, first come, first served. If they
Right.
get the money, you sell it.
Yeah, I agree.
That's all I got.
Well, thank you. I'd like to also say thank you to all the vets, Chad, Pete, and Bob Wolford. I don't know, Dan, were you in the service?
I was not.
Okay, Dan. Yep, thank you, Dan, for your service. Thanks, Bob, for your service.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
You bet.
And the poll workers, they did a very good job on Tuesday. So I wanted to say thank you to them, and I guess the Boy Scouts went up and cleaned Nelson Park, and I'd like to say thank you to them. They did that on Sunday. So thank you to the Boy Scouts, the veterans, and all the poll workers. Thank you very much. Anybody else have any?
I'll second that.
Yeah. Go ahead, Steve.
I just highly recommend that you hire someone full-time, permanently, to start rebuilding the maintenance department. It's needed.
Thanks, Steve. Can I get a motion to close public comment?
So moved.
I have a motion by Ralph, second by Mitch. Any further discussion? Call motion, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Motion carries. That concludes our business. Can we get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
I'll second that. I got a motion by Bob, second by Terry. Any further discussion? I call a motion. All in favor, signify by aye. Aye. Opposed, say no. Motion carries. We are adjourned. Thank you.
Thanks, all.
Hey, Bob, real quick.
Yes, sir.
On those resolutions, I need those signed as soon as possible. Can you come in tomorrow at all?
Yes, sir. Tomorrow morning, I'll be there.
Perfect, thank you.
Right on. See you then.
See ya, thanks, bye. Oh, yeah, thank you, Dan.
Thanks, Dan, for everything you do for us.
Hey, I need,
Thank you.
Mitch. Okay.
Oh, yeah, maybe
You got something to say? Or you want to get out of here? Lock the door?
Yeah, I want to make sure I get Kelsey before she pops out the door real quick.